Hey everybody, welcome back to King's Outdoor Life. Here's a finished product, and this video has been brightened artificially here in iMovie so you can kind of see the gate. It was pitch dark when I got it hung tonight, but I wanted to get this finished, and this is 30 video clips over the past 2 months put together to try to show you the putting together this old English gate that we did for our neighbor's pool area. It was a fun project, and I enjoyed doing it, but I'm glad to get it out of my garage. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe.
So here's the basic layout of this gate. Nothing's been cut. That diagonal piece is not the piece I'll use. I've got to cut a longer one. But that's the basic layout. It's 67 inches. And here's my very, very complex plans that I drew up. So I got to have, let's see, another one of this piece cut to go in the middle here, and then 2 of those, or I may just leave it with 2. I don't know. That's the beauty of making your own. You can do it how you want. So all these joints here, I've got to drill and do mortise and tenon there, and mortise and tenon each of these up through here. So that's the rough layout, how it's going to look. I'll have to plane these stiles going through here like that. I have to plane those. So a lot to be done yet, and we'll get started tonight and see how it goes, slowly but surely, I hope. Working on my layout, I'm going to start with the keel post. I've laid it out. I'm going to start at the bottom here at 3 inches. Hope you can see my marks. And then found my center. I'm going to come up the distance. This is the bottom tenon. I'll drill holes all the way down through here. And I got to come up here to my top. And I want the top of my gate to come in at 48 inches. And we'll come down a 1/2 inch and make this mark. We'll have a tenon there too. So that tenon will come in the top right there. And in the bottom, I'll move this down because the tenon is going to be 2 3/8. So it'll come down to here. And then another 1/2 inch will come to here. So this will be the top of that top ridge going across there. This will be the bottom of that top ridge. And then the tenon will be a 1/2 inch in on each side. So this will fit nice and secure in there. And we'll do the same thing. Now the rest of them, we'll do the same thing for each hole here. And I've got one at the top, one at the bottom. And I got 2 other stiles that's going to go in here. I'll just split this difference and make them in the center of that. And I'll get this keel post laid out. Once I get the keel post laid out, I'll turn the other side, the end of the gate, and lay it on here and lay it out against this one, so they'll be sure to match all the way across. So the key is getting this keel post laid out correctly, and then we'll get the other side laid out. I just noticed a big knot right here. You know, you're dealing with free wood. It was, again, from a sawmill friend of mine. So you never know what you're going to get. But that big knot is going to pose a little bit of a problem. So that may have to work on my layout here. I think I'll be able to go below it on this one and come above it on this one. I think I'm gonna miss it. I think it's gonna be okay. So we'll work on that as we go. Some more on our layout here. From the top of this bottom rail to the bottom of the top rail, it's 38 3/4. If you divide 38 3/4 by 3, you'll get your distances in each section. So that comes out to be 12.9. So I've marked those here and here. And that's where the center of each of these rails will go. So then I can go here, and I know it's 2.5. Let's go on 12 here. So I know it's 2.5. So I'm gonna go 1 1/4 to here. All right, move right there. 1 1/4, 1 1/4. And that'll be that rail. Come to this one, we'll move that up to 24. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. And that'll be that rail. So I'll find the center here and do that. Now this one is supposed to be 2.5. So the center would be 1 1/4. The way to do this, we'll get out of frame there. The way to find the center is do 1 1/4 from this side, turn it over and do 1 1/4 from this side. And if those marks don't hit the same spot, make your vertical line in between the two marks that you make. So what I'll do here is I've got my marks made here and here. I'll make my center line here, and I'll have this one laid out ready to drill. With those two, this one's laid out and ready to drill. Then I'll be able to drill my holes and then start the tedious task of taking a chisel and taking out to square it out for my mortise and tenon. I do not have a cool jig or drill bit that makes that square hole. So I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Drill a round hole and then take a chisel and chisel it out. So I am not going to let you sit here and wait and watch me do that, because that could take forever. So I'm going to mark these, drill the holes, show you that, and then start chiseling. I made my layout, and then I drilled my first hole here. This line was a little off, so I had to come just outside that line and center it on this line. Then I marked my hole, and this hole needs to be 1.5 inches deep. So I've made a mark both on my drill bit at 1.5 inches and on this thing at 1.5 inches. That way, as I drill, I can stick it in there, check it, and see if I'm short or not. Next thing I'm gonna do is, this drill bit's kind of dull. This white oak is so hard. So based on the last holes I drilled and now drilling this one, I'm gonna take my file and I'm gonna work on this drill bit a little bit and file, get that sharper. Sharper bits cut so much better and take so much less time. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll drill this hole, come to this hole, and then try to get, this is going to come to here. And I may try to, if I'll be able to, I know I'll be able to do one more in the middle. I may try to get two. And then I'll do the same thing here and here. All right, I'll work on those and be back in a minute. All right, so I have the holes drilled for each of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 rails going across. I'm a shop vac going so I could suction out all the holes I went. So now I just have to take my chisel and connect the dots on each of these places here. So I'll get my chisel out and start hammering away. Well, it is about 9:30 p.m. I got all 4 of these holes for the mortises done. These 3 are ready. I've got to cut the tenon in the top rail so it'll fit in the mortise there. But I'm gonna call it quits for tonight and get some of this video uploaded and start back on this tomorrow night. All right, so we got this gate put together now, and we used ratchet straps to pull this tight, and we want to get our measurement. The gate is 67 inches wide, and we want to get our measurement. The next thing we want to do is get our diagonal, because we want to make sure it's square. So the reason we want to make sure it's square is we're going to run a diagonal piece here, and you want to make sure it's square and not ratched one way or the other before you make that diagonal, because when you cut the diagonal in, we're going to cut it into this piece here. It'll actually recess into this piece and recess into the keel post, but you want to make sure it's square, because once that angle is set, then that is where it's going to be cut. You don't want to cut that diagonal in the wrong place. You want to make sure it's square first. So we're going to pull the diagonal measurements, make sure it's square, and then we're going to have to cut and use the planer. We're going to have to run a planer on these boards over here that we have to run for the diagonal. I don't have one plane that's long enough, so we've got to get it square, plane a piece, and then lay that one across there and make 3 vertical stiles. So we'll work on that now. All right, so we got this square and marked this mark here, these angles. You got 2 angles. You got this angle and the bottom angle. So we got this in place here, got it cut. So we had to plane this board, went in and cut the length. So I marked that angle. And then I marked these marks here, here, and then down each side of this. So the next thing we do was set this aside. We got these marks. We're going to cut this out here to the depth of this. So I'm going to measure this, and this is, I think it's 15/16. I'll measure it again. It's 15/16 or 7/8, and we'll make this that depth so it'll set flush on this here, and we'll cut it down here so it'll sit flush here as well. I think. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna double check that to make sure. The last one I built, this one wasn't flush,
So I'm going to have to think about this a minute. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to set the saw to 7/8, so that's the depth of that style going across. I tell you, it is as close as I can get. So I'm going to lock that down in place. There it is. Alright, lock that in place. Check it one more time. So then I'm going to cut everything. I don't know if you can see these lines or not. A line there and a line there. I'm going to cut down each line and then cut everything out in between there and then come back with our chisel and chisel it all out. Alright, here we go. Then we'll take our chisel and we'll chisel all that out and lay the board in. So after getting this recess cut, this slides right down in there flush here, flush there. It comes, this comes up to be flush there. Flush on this one. This right here will be just a smidge right there over a little bit of lip. I'll bevel that edge to make that. But that is coming together nicely. So we've got to cut our vertical stiles, 3 of those, take it all apart, and then glue it back together. I hate when you get it all put together to take it all back apart, but just part of it. We're working on the vertical stiles here for the gate, and what we've got to do is, this is called a Craig jig. We're going to put this in our vise. We're going to tighten it down, and this will allow us to make a pocket hole vertically into the top rail of the gate. So if you've never seen a Craig jig before, they make doubles. This is a single. They're pretty expensive, but they're really neat. I'll show you here what this does. What that does, that allows you to make a hole where the screw can go up and be out of sight, out of the way, into the vertical to the top rail. So we're going to flip it over, do the other side too, tighten that one down. And those will be good to go. Alright, so now we've got to mark our location for these vertical stiles. If I can find my tape measure, there it is. So let me pass off the camera to the cameraman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this distance between the two, and it's 60 inches. But I know that these two stiles are 3 inches each. So I got to do 60 minus 6. So that's 54. Divide that by 3, that's 18. So that gives us the spaces on each side of these rails. So we'll make a mark here at 18. Make a mark here at 18. Then I can move, this one's got to go this way. This one's got to go this way. So then we should have, if math works out, 18 on this side, 18 in the middle, and then 18 on that side. Math never lies. So we wanted a total distance here of 66 and a half, and we got 66 and a half on the bottom, the middle, and the top. We'll check our 18 on this side to make sure we're good to go here. So we'll come over to there. 18 here. And 18, gotta go just a smidge this way there, get that square. 18, 18, and 18. This one here is a little bit unlevel. I'm gonna take this one out and cut that square. I got unlevel somehow. Make sure what it looks like on this side. good. Looks good all the way around. Just needs to be made square. So now we're at the part I hate worse. We're going to take it all apart and then glue it and screw it. We're good to go. All right, so what I've done here is I've got the final pull in there. I've glued all these joints and I've screwed all of these joints. Screws here and here. Now I'm coming back in these middles. I had to switch to shorter screws because I don't want them to go all the way through. So I pre-drilled all these to not split, and then I also drilled a countersink hole on these so I can countersink these heads. I drilled a little bigger hole on top so I can countersink these heads because I've got a smaller screw. I want to go in the wood but not through. Not press my luck, I don't want to split it. All right, so we'll let this thing dry overnight and we'll hang it hopefully tomorrow. Have you ever broken off a screw? Well, you know, you got something like this and these hinges have got to be in a perfect place. So I've marked them all, pre-drilled my holes, there, and I start to screw the very first screw in, and it takes about halfway in and says pop, and the screw breaks right in half. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to drill that screw out so I can then put this hinge exactly where it needs to go so I can hang it. So I don't know, it's this video is like day 72 or something. It's like 5 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour there. But hopefully, if this weather will not bite us, then we'll get this gate hung tonight. I put a little honing oil, just some sort of oil, and I'm trying to just drill slow. And remove that screw. Have to go back with a bigger screw, obviously. Bit smoking a little bit. Still got just a little metal in there. What's smoking, the bit or the wood? Very close. I'm looking for metal shavings coming up the drill bit, and I'm still getting a little bit. I really can't see it. I'm gonna take a break and answer my phone. Okay, got all this drilled out, and got these new screws here. They're 2.5 inches, so they'll go almost all the way through. But notice this one on the right? Yeah, I went ahead and just started screwing it in there and broke one of these off. So this white oak, really hard material. I have to think about this for a minute. Does anybody else's luck go like this? So I don't know how well you can see with low light because it's a little bit after sunset here. But this video has been about 2 months in the making, so I was going to get this gate hung and get it over with. So this is just a simple old English gate at the entrance to my neighbor's pool. It's got a little, what do you call those things? Pergola with the vines growing on it, wisteria in this case. And we just put this old English gate in place here to go in and out. So that's it on this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and share it with a friend.